Welcome to Halloween Havoc 2022. Now, I want to say I'm sorry I didn't do my double feature yesterday with SmackDown and Rampage. As you can hear, my throat's a bit messed up. I've been trying to get rid of this sore throat I know it's my allergies. And it's messing with either my right ear, my left, my right, my left. I take my medicine, it goes away, it comes back. It's annoying. It happens every time around this time of year. When the weather starts changing, my throat gets messed up, and I suck at trying to get rid of it. It takes time to get rid of. So I was trying to rest my throat so I can do this, Halloween Havoc. I don't know if anyone else is going to review it. Maybe JD's reviewing it. Maybe just Alex is reviewing it. I will say this for myself, as you see for the title. Okay, but a bit sloppy. And I'm going to say this. If you've seen my Impact reviews where I talk about production value, the major problem I saw with this show was the production value for the camera work, which is very rare. It is incredibly rare for me to say that WWE's camera work is bad, because when you see halfway through the show, camera work was bad. It just was. I can't say anything else about it. It was like this. It just looked bad. But other than that, audio was okay. Lighting was fine as usual. Fan participation was good. Now, here comes the interesting part. Was the matches good? Well, here we go. Opening is the ladder match for the North American title. We got Wes. We got Carmelo Hayes. We had Von Wagner. We had that new guy, Meta. I believe that's his name. I'm mispronouncing it. And we got the guy that was from the Best of 3 series, and that was Frazier. Who looked the best in it? Frazier and Wesley. I know I call him Wes, but I'd rather call him Desmond Xavier, because that's his real name in Impact Wrestling. He's always been Dez. For me personally, I always knew Desmond Xavier was damn good. He was charismatic, an incredible high flyer. Talking on the mic was not that good. But since he went to NXT, his mic work has improved quite much. He's much better talking than he was before. And when you culminate that in this match, it was good. And I will tell you this. Von Wagner wasn't too bad. Frazier was the second best. And Wesley was the one that shined the most. They made it like that. That was the purpose of it. And he won. Now, what does this mean for Wesley having North American title? That means they have some stock in him. Since his partner's not there, Wentz is not there. You know who the one I'm talking about. I can't remember his name right now. It's been so long since I thought about him. So I forgot his name. He used to be known as Wentz. I'll give it like this. Seeing that they do have stock in him makes me personally happy to know that a Impact star that been there for years, who worked in the Rascals, who had a silly gimmick of being stoners basically, has now reached the point where he has a title in WWE. Even if it's developmental, people wanted him to win it. And now he has it. The question's going to be, how is this feud going to go forward with Carmelo Hayes? Because it's not over yet. Carmelo's going to be coming after him. Von Wagner, I believe, is also going to come after him. Frazier's not going to do anything. He's going to be dealing with Axon, I believe. What is the guy's name? Axon. I keep forgetting his name because I haven't been watching NXT. It's been on and off for me. But honestly, seeing Wes makes me happy. Casket match. Really. This match didn't work for me. I'm telling you right now. Even though this is the 4th match in history of WWE that did not have Undertaker in it in any shape or form. This is the 4th one. And this is the 2nd one in about 2 years, I think. At least a year or two. It needed to be something special. And this was not special. Grace Waller and Apollo Crews should have not been in this. You know who should have done it? Cameron Grimes. And should have. I'm not trying to take anything away from Grayson Waller or from Apollo Crews, but Cameron Grimes and Dempsey should have really. They should have done it. Schism should have been involved in this. This should have been about them, not these two. It didn't work. For me personally, it didn't work. And then worse yet, when it came to seeing Apollo crash through that first casket, that should have been the end of it. And I agree with I wish Triple H. You see him angry. Triple H, if he was there, would have ended the match there and then. No. He crashed through that casket. It should have been over. No, they're trying to say you have to open and close the damn casket. No. You just got to be put in it. So when the Druids brought out the first one, they brought out a second one bigger than the original one. And then when it was all over, it felt anticlimactic. Dempsey should have been. I'm forgetting his name now. I'm wondering if I'm even calling his name right. I am so angry right now that this match happened instead of Schism dealing with Cameron Grimes. That should have been them. It should have been them. But no, they get a video package in the back. Schism with their new guy. What? Why? Why? I don't know why they did it. I don't agree with this. I know that they tried their best, but it just didn't feel right. There was no special gimmick with Apollo Crews where his eye was bleeding or anything. Nothing. It was just a classic match. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Here's another match I don't get. A Weapons Wild match between Roxanne and... Why? I don't think this match should have happened. When you see Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez, I'm going like, these two are not great wrestlers yet. They're still kind of young in the business. Look, I know Roxanne was in reality wrestling, and I love reality wrestling when you could see it and when they did it right. But she was still young in the business. Then you see Cora Jade, who's been doing pretty well with her new gimmick, but she's still also young. They both needed more seasoned veterans to do the business for them. That means one of them had to be the young guy, a young girl, and the other one had to be the seasoned veteran to make it mean something. You stuck two of them together where they're both pretty young in it, and they don't 100% have their gimmicks down packed, and they're both not great wrestlers. I'm getting angry again because when you watch the match, they were very, very gentle. When you see Cora Jade grab that rope and started hitting Roxanne with it, you could tell she was not hitting her full bore. Roxanne did hit her full bore at one point, at least once, maybe twice, but after that they were doing it gently. And yes, they did go into the crowd. They did get up onto the higher area and did they jump off of it. But in the end, it didn't feel like it compensated for anything. This didn't feel right. They tried. Even the opening didn't feel right. When you see Roxanne with a skateboard, maybe I'll put it in my face if I got the shot. I don't even know if I'm putting images in here. I'm just like, you got her fighting with a skateboard because of how we got started together. It didn't feel legitimate. Particularly that you seen Roxanne blocking a whole bunch of garbage can lids that Cora Jade is throwing at her. It just didn't work for me. So that makes two matches that didn't feel right. That should have been with somebody else. Let's move on. Let me say this about when you see Chelsea Blackheart and Quincy... I'm not into Quincy. I'm not feeling them. I'm sorry. Chelsea, I believe. I felt Chelsea Blackheart being the best person to be there. And then you got Lash Legend coming out trying to say Chelsea shouldn't have been there and Quincy shouldn't have been there, and pretty much in high heels, this high, gets her ass laid out by Chelsea Blackheart. Now they're going to have a match next week. I kind of could get that, but once you see Quincy Elliott there, he was in the beginning of the show. Then he was there as a damn banana. And I'm sorry. You guys love Quincy, more power to you. But as I see Quincy, I don't feel it. He feels like Viscerate 2.0. It's like they're trying to push him as Viscerate or Big Daddy V. And it's not working for me. He's charismatic. I'll give you that. He is. And I'm not taking that away from him. But it doesn't feel right. There is something off. And it's not because if he's gay or bisexual or if he once was a woman. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that his gimmick is not working. It's not. And I'm not feeling. But he is charismatic. I can feel that. But everything else doesn't seem to be right. He doesn't look the part. He's not wrestling the part. He's good on the mic, but it's not enough for me. I'm just saying. Now, the ambulance match. Let me give it to you like this. Got a good story. You got Damon pretty much saying, you want this match? You get this match, Julia. Yeah, Julia. Maybe it's because he didn't win. Because when you see Damon Kemp compared to Julian Creed should have lost. That's the issue. I truly believe Damon should have won. Because you did all this with this arc. And honestly, he should have won. And Brutus should have been kicked out of NXT and he should have gone on the main roster. Or better yet, they should have never did the stipulation where if he loses, his brother's got to leave. It feels like it should never been done. The stipulation should never been there. The match itself was actually pretty good. They were very violent about it. They reached a point where the spectators could have gotten hurt a couple of times because of the way they were throwing everything everywhere. But when you see how it ends, and the stipulation is the sticking point for me, that you see Julian, and you know that he should have lost. Because seeing Damon get this far and nothing comes of it doesn't mean he's going to be getting anything farther out in the future. It should have been him leaving. Or better yet, neither party should leave. It shouldn't have happened. And that's what's angering me. That yes, Brutus had the right to try and get a new match. And that could have been the stipulation. If he loses, he doesn't get the match. But seeing that Brutus had to be kicked out, you knew they were going to make him win it. And Damon should have won. I'm just saying. Now, I'm not going to say much about Chase U and the new guy that's there. I'm not. Because, simply put, it just feels like he needs time to marinate. And I don't want to talk about it yet. Now, I will talk about the next match, which was extremely abrupt. And that was just after the ambulance match. And that is the women's title match. Now, this time around, we had a cinematic for the women, which was for Toxic Attraction, dealing with Abba Fire. You know, I kept forgetting Abba's name. And I think I know the reason why. She talks well, but her charisma is not there. She can talk very well. She's good in the ring, but to me, she just doesn't have the charisma. And I think it's due to the fact of her gimmick. As someone who deals with fire, Why are you doing a fun house? I'm sorry. Yes, I know this is Halloween Havoc. But it feels like it shouldn't have happened. She is someone that is from the old country, from Ireland, that you know as a fire dancer or whatever they called it. She should be something special. That should have been the gimmick more than it should have been a haunted house. And mind you, was a haunted house bad? No. But it's been played every single time. I would have liked to see something a little different, like seeing them deal with her heritage. Maybe you could have thrown a little bit of Halloween in there, but it could have been about her dealing with more Celtic stuff. And that could have been the Halloween thing. For me personally, it just didn't seem to work for me. Then the match, which was a good match. You guys can say a lot about Mandy, but Mandy has improved herself dramatically in the ring. She's not incredible in the ring. She was here. She's come to here. Easily can be here. Because before she was like here, yes, she's great eye candy. Yes, she did have some ability in the ring because she's cock diesel, because she's not a weak woman. But she needed polish. And even though you can say a lot about Vince, he made the right choice sticking her in NXT and giving her time to work on a gimmick, her character, and bringing her from here to here now. She easily is not only competent, she's easily better than that. She can get into a near title picture, or can be in a title picture if the other person's more seasoned than she is. So in this situation, it wasn't that bad. In the end, she wins because Toxic Attraction saves her ass. But the question is now, how long will it be before they throw in the main roster along with the other two? That's the question. Finally, the best match of the night. Dragunov, Breakker, and McDonough. You know, I thought McDonough was Scottish. I didn't know he was Irish. My mistake. This was the best match of the night for me personally. Every other match was good. Yes, the opening match for the ladder match, I liked it due to the fact that Wesley won. And it wasn't a bad match, but this was the best match for me personally. It was. I will say this, seeing Vic Joseph having Booker T as his partner, Booker T, I love. Vic, I can give and take him. I really think they could have put someone else there than Vic. Not Brian Saxon. No. Someone else. That's just me. But this match was the best freaking match of the night. I did love the match, but I'm going to be honest here. There was only two people I knew was going to win. Either it was going to be Dragunov or Braun. Braun Breakker had to win, or Dragunov had to win. And McDonough really was just there as a catalyst between the two. Because I didn't expect McDonough to win at all. If he had won it, I would go like, really? Why? Yes, he's got a great gimmick. Yes, he's got a good character. But honestly, as the champ at this point, no. Tyler Bates is better than McDonough as a character and even as a wrestler. And I'd rather see him in that position. So I wasn't expecting that. But when you see the ending and you see Braun, it was not surprising. Braun was going to win. I knew he was going to win. And guess what? He did win. But he had to struggle for a while, which was fine. Particularly against Dragunov. Dragunov made the best sense. McDonough doing everything he could to mess with both of them and to distract them both so he can try and get an advantage. That's what he was there for. And I'm glad that they did that because the structure of the match was done well. You got Braun as the muscle guy. You got Dragunov as the guy who's all around destructive. And then you have McDonough, who's the wild card, who would mess both of them over and loved doing it and laughing his ass off while doing it. And that's what we got. I loved the match. It was one of the best ones I've seen in a while from NXT in this format. But what does this mean for NXT going forward? I don't know. Was this a great pay-per-view? No, it was good to okay. With a lot of sloppiness. Having two matches, I do not understand why. Quincy Elliott, I just don't get it. I don't hate him, but he's not as hyped as he is. At least not yet for me. They need to do more with him. They need to work on his gimmick. They need to give me something to care about him, because it stands being the quintessential diva, or the ultimate diva. I'm not feeling it. But that's just me. Peace. Oh, and leave a comment and a like or two. Peace.